my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish the tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Yeah, hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Ah. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Hello to all of my tea sippers, my crumpet dunkers, my tea brewers, my pot stirrers, and my tea leaf readers, honey. What is going on in your world, honey? It's another glorious day, and I know you have all of your crumpets together, darling, because you know what time it is, honey. It's time to dish tea, and you are dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all like the new backdrop? Okay. Yeah, I had to change it because the last one had that chandelier. I had to notice that it had a little reflector on it, you know, with the chandelier. So I kept wondering, I kept adjusting the lights and adjusting the lights. It was the chandelier. And the way how it's created to capture the light because it's a photo backdrop. So, you know, like, if we were standing up and I had to raise just a little bit higher, we'll be up under the chandelier. So when you catch the light, it'll be like it's cascading down on us, you know. Yeah, so it wasn't working for this particular motif. So I had to change it. You like? Okay, isn't it cute? All right, honey. We're going to get into some things because as I told y'all before, hey, Todd, what's going on? Good to see you. Do I need to see you? When you coming back down here to the ATL? Okay. You know, this is still Labor Day weekend. And yes, I have made myself available for the Donut Factory. So once we finish this broadcast, I got to get ready to put on Donut Factory clothes and then go into the Donut Factory. Okay. So happy, joy. But I'm not going to do too much complaining because, you know, it is, you know, a little bit more coin that was coming into the before. So, yeah. On any event, my darlings, we're going to get right into some things. And I titled today's show, What is the Color of Love? Now, that's going to be a broad topic. I mean, the title of the show is going to be very broad because what I'm about to go into, it's going to be some things, honey. We're going to get into a little bit of cuteness, honey, some debauchery, and things of that nature. So I'm telling y'all from off the cuff that, yes, we're going to get into a few things today and bring something to your attention because y'all know on our previous show, we were sitting down talking about the new Texas heartbeat bill, right? That the Supreme Court has upheld. Okay, so now there's some new ramifications that have come from it that I want to make sure that we talk about today. Larry, what you say? Hope to see you at House in the Park tomorrow, honey. I'm hoping to get there. Tomorrow we have some important business to take care of with my car club. So we'll be in a meeting and carrying on. So I don't know if I'll be able to get there or not. However, that is on the to-do list. For those of y'all who are here in Atlanta for Black Gay Pride, or if you're here for the SEC games, or if you're here for Dragon Con, or if you're here for Skate-a-thon, tomorrow at Grant Park, honey, we got House in the Park, honey, one of the house music festivals that's going on, and you know they're gonna have Wonderful, 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 wonderful old house music. And the bitch need to come on out there and get her swerve on, honey. Ooh, okay, get her swerve on. However, I don't know if I'll be able to make it because we got some shit we got to take care of with my car club and a couple of other things that are on the table, okay? So right now I'm fine solo. I'm sure my co-hosts are going to come in a moment. Aunt Nikki and the big guy, Ally Big Red, will be coming in momentarily. Everybody, we're still trying to pick up the pieces from everything that has been going on over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, that there is that. Okay. So having said all that, let's get right into it because I want to start with let's go into this whole thing with the Texas heartbeat bill. Okay. Here's something that I found today that I thought was absolutely unbelievable because I didn't think about it from this particular perspective. What up, Doe? Hunter, Pride Hunter, honey. That's the D-Town right there. That's Detroit, honey. Okay, what up, Doe? I want to read this article to you. This is coming from ABC News. And I thought this to be rather fascinating because it gives us another perspective as to why it is that this heartbeat law that the Supreme Court has decided to uphold. It says here that LYFT and Uber to cover the fees for drivers sued under the Texas law. Right. Okay, catch that. They're going to cover the fees if the drivers are sued under this new Texas law. Catch what the article is saying. It says, ride-hailing companies Uber and Lyft said Friday they will cover the legal fees of any driver who was sued under the new law prohibiting most abortions in Texas. The Texas law bans abortions once medical professionals can detect a cardiac activity, usually around 6 weeks, and often before women know they are pregnant. Rather than be enforced by government authorities, the law gives citizens the right to file civil suits and collect damages against anyone aiding in abortion, including those who transport women to clinics. Catch that. Catch that, okay? San Francisco-based Lyft said it has created a fund to cover 100% of the legal fees for drivers sued under the law while driving on its platform, calling the Texas law an attack on women's right to choose. Let me get my lips together. My articulators are not working properly. Lyft also said that it will donate $1 million to Planned Parenthood. Quote, we want to be clear. Drivers are never responsible for monitoring where their riders go or why. Imagine being a driver and not knowing if you are breaking the law by giving someone a ride, Lyft said in a statement. Similarly, riders never have to justify or even share where they are going and why. Imagine being a pregnant woman trying to get to a healthcare appointment and not knowing if your driver can cancel on you for fear of breaking the law. See, that's the other side of that. Okay, Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi, I just told that up, I know, responded to Lyft's statement in a tweet announcing a similar policy for its drivers. Quote, drivers shouldn't be put at risk of getting people where they want to go, end quote. Uber is also headquartered in San Francisco. Earlier this week, the chief executive of Tinder owner Match Group said she is setting up a fund to help any Texas-based employees who need to seek an abortion outside of the state. Rival dating app Bumble also criticized the law and announced on Instagram it would donate funds to 6 organizations that supports women's reproductive rights. Both dating companies are based in Texas and are led by women. Match Group says CEO Shar Dubey is creating the fund on her own and not through the company. She spoke out against the law in a memo to employees Thursday. Quote, I immigrated to America from India over 25 years ago, and I have to say, as a Texas resident, I am shocked that I now live in a state where women's reproductive laws are more regressive than most of the world, including India, Dubey said in the memo, end quote. The Texas law, which took effect Tuesday after the Supreme Court denied an emergency appeal from abortion providers, constitute the biggest curb to the constitutional right to an abortion in decades. It does not make exceptions for rape or incest. Oh, I didn't know that. It does not make exceptions for rape or incest. That part I did not know. Wow. That part I did not know. Okay. So now, here we are. We knew that the fallout was going to happen. We knew that there were going to be a lot of things that's going to come out of this. However, let's look at this practically, because just as Uber was saying, okay, how is it that because you don't know if you're breaking the law or not, somebody can, cancel your ride because they think they may be breaking the law? Or how about you don't know that you're breaking the law and then somebody wants to sue you because somebody gets out of your car, you dropping them off, you don't know what the hell is going on. And see, here's the thing, it's all up under perception. A lot of those Planned Parenthood places and things offer more than just abortions and things. They have health care. Some people see their doctors in those particular places because that's what they can afford. They also have family planning and things of that particular nature. So we have a number of issues here that this particular law is stepping on. They really, as I said on our previous show, they really have not established whether or not the law was constitutional or not. Everything else is saying that this is unconstitutional. Plus, with everything that Roe v. Wade had brought about, honey, this is a complete step on all of that. And now that Texas passed it, of course, Georgia is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to get their bill put back on, and so I think I read Florida is another state that's trying to do the same thing. So we're now starting to have a lot of these copycat things going on. So the question becomes, now what? Okay, do we really want to go down this rabbit hole? Are we looking to go down this whole thing at what costs? Okay, let's look at this from this other practical standpoint. What about the anticipated violence that could come from this? Because what's going to happen if, say for instance, the pregnant woman decides to, they get upset, they get hostile, want to fight, knock somebody in the face, slap somebody, spit on somebody, and then what if the person retaliates and they end up harming the baby? You hit the woman back or whatever, you end up harming the baby. See, see if we play that what if game, this thing will never end. So they're gonna open up this Pandora's box, and they don't know what they're looking at. They don't know what they're getting themselves in for. They do not know what this. Okay, just like when 45 was voted up in here, I said, okay, this is what you said you wanted. Now deal with it, right? All right, let's go for it. What's the comments? What y'all say in the comments? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Hey, Tracy. Hello. Hey, real estate. What's going on? Beach. Hey, Hugh. What's happening, baby? Let me go here. I want to play. Let me play something that came across over on Instagram, because here's some other thought-provoking things that come out that we have that just brings about discussion. Check this out.
Ugh, so proud of Texas for putting a ban on abortions after 6 weeks. Word? Gotta look this up. Yeah, it's really going to be a game changer. Huh, that's weird. What? Well, it looks like abortion providers can be sued, but there's nothing in here about being able to sue the men who create the unwanted pregnancies. Wait. Yeah, like can men be sued if they rape a woman and or cause an unwanted pregnancy to occur? Why would they? Maybe harsher punishments for rapists? I'm not seeing that either. Have they increased the pay for social workers, CPS workers, and orphan caregivers? Why is that necessary? Because of the surplus of children that will be in the system. Oh, you thought because this state is forcing people to have children that they were going to keep them? I don't... Ugh, so many kids in the system. Ugh, and the amount of kids that stay with parents who don't want them? Trauma. Who's going to protect all these children? I mean...
Okay, there. How about that? Okay, did this woman bring up a few points in that? Okay. Can men be sued? Now, when we had the previous show, I was saying before that, yes, I believe in a woman's right to choose and this, that, and the other, and I will fight for that. But y'all know, like I said yesterday, honey, in my case, personally, I truly believe, honey, if you were to do that and it were my child, don't you tell me. Don't you tell me, okay? And I wish that men who really want to have their children or whatever had a stronger voice in that. Because what that does, that alienates men altogether. Well, you can't tell a woman what to do with her body, but that's my child too. It's my child too. See? So men don't get a say in that, and that's what, personally, I think that's where one of the flaws is with that particular, with the whole, I can't tell a woman what to do with her body. However, let me say this. I do know that it's also protection from the woman, because back when I was born, a woman couldn't get her tubes tied unless her husband said she could. Okay. My mother was telling me that after she had my sisters, she was done. She said, "Okay, I can't get no more, honey, but male and female that occurs. You got two of each, honey. I'm done." And so she had her tubes burned, clipped, and tied. Okay, and she was telling me that the doctors were explaining to her that she had to get her husband's permission. And she was like, "You can't tell me what to do with mine, honey. He got all the kids that we gonna have. Okay, and that's going to be it because I'm done." Okay, so I understand the need to protect women, because oftentimes, up until the women's rights movement and carrying on, women had no say so in their bodies and things, because the man was always, or the husband or whatever, or male dominated entities were always telling women and doing for women and giving women their thought processes. So I understand the reason why, and I understand the reason for protection. At the same time, we now got to come back and find a happy medium, because men have no voice. Okay, men have no voice in it at all. And then, of course, with child support and carrying on, I know of men, honey, who have it was proven that the man was not even the biological father of the child, but the court. And listen, here in Michigan, the courts will sit down there and tell him, "Well, you're the only father that the child knows." So, he was paying all this child support or whatever. I know there was a story a few years back. The guy haven't even met the child. He was just sitting up there paying child support, to come to find out that when they did a DNA test, he was not the father at all. But the court system told him, because he was the one that was taking care of her all this time, they did not denounce, revoke, or give him a refund of all the money that he paid into that system. And so a lot of these cases, the men's voices are not heard. Okay, they are not heard. So now, on the flip side of this coin, you're going to empower the everyday citizen, just like with Uber, because this child got dropped off or whatever, or because somebody get a hair up their ass, or because you're trying to WWJD, and be all Christian or whatever. You end up wanting to sue the Uber or the Lyft drivers because of something that you think that again, like I say, we don't know what they're going to the clinic for. You're assuming that they're going for an abortion and all of that. And then this gives you the right, or, the chutzpah, to then want to charge them and everybody involved because of what you thought. See? So now, yeah, and we don't have anything set up for crime or whatever. We already talking about trying to retrain the police or whatever. Here's the thought. Now, this is a pot-stirring thought. This just hit me. I don't know where this can go, but let's play this out. What if this is part of some kind of elaborate scheme, okay, to fortify police? Because, with the whole defund the police movement, is this some kind of something? Are the pundits going to jump on this and say, "See, this is why we need police protection and blah, 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 blah," because you have created anarchy, and folks want to come in trying to have martial law on their own, recognizances and things, or what, is this what we're about to come into? Food for thought, children. Food for thought. Okay. So, in having all of that, that's just interesting. So now that you're able to sue, and again, the law does not cover rape or incest. So if it doesn't cover rape or incest as far as being exempt from abortions, can I then, or can anybody then go after the men who caused the pregnancy? How about this? Can they go after the men who paid for it? Because there's a number of men who don't want the child, and will force the women into having abortions or whatever. What about that? Okay. So see, we have a lot of what is, didn't I say we play that what if game? This is going to go into, it can get real dark and dismal and things of that nature. So, what is it? What is it? What is it? Let's go here to the comments. Rhea, what you say, this law is so wrong on so many levels. Aren't HIPAA laws violated if Uber and Lyft was to ask the woman the question? You know what? Hey, I don't know if HIPAA laws are, because see, not necessarily HIPAA, okay? Because, sharing medical information, your own medical information is one thing. HIPAA laws will be violated if medical professionals and things, or you come in contact with medical information. Okay. Now, in a perfect world, we're all supposed to be sworn to confidentiality and carrying on. But once you sit down there, HIPAA laws prohibit us to tell somebody else's medical history. Okay, we could be sued that way. So if he asks a question, he can't necessarily, that's not necessarily against HIPAA laws, but because of this law, that there poses a question. Does it skirt up under those HIPAA things or whatever? Because it might, it just might. It just might, So there you have it. Lanier, what you say? Those Texas legislators got some seriously fucked up priorities to come up with this. Let me read that right. For it takes some real meticulous planning to include damning cab drivers for abortions. I don't know much about Texas, but I'm sure they could use that meticulous planning to accomplish greatness for way more important issues. Well, you know what? Here's where it is, Lanier. You're absolutely right. But when you leave something up to interpretation, okay, and you're now empowering the citizens to make citizens arrests and to now be able to make lawsuits, you told these folks they could make lawsuits, civil lawsuits, against folks for X, Y, and Z, who you think is breaking this law. The court systems are already overcrowded. They can't get shit done as it is. Y'all know I'm still dealing with the death of my child, and my son was in the court system waiting to go to trial. Okay, waiting. We were 2 years waiting for him to go to trial so we could beat this damn case. And he still did not see the light of day. And he was taken up out of here. Okay. He, I say they killed him, and I'm standing behind that. Okay. So you're talking about all that's going on. And now you're going to empower folks to go to civil cases. What is this going to do for reality television? Because y'all know these kind of cases are going to go to the People's Court and all these other court cases and carried on. That's on TV. What is that going to do to the psyche of America? And carry it on. So, what does, that, See, when we really look at this, and start to unravel a few things, and there's going to be more. Like I said, this thing just broke yesterday, and today already LYFT is saying that they're finna to put a fund together. Okay, what else is about to come out of the way for folks to have to prepare for? Because we're gonna have happy ass motherfuckers who like to sit down there and get sue happy. Everybody want to sue somebody these days. I think they're gonna get rich quick off of a lawsuit. Okay, and what is that going to do to the court system? Those of y'all who are lawyers out there, talk to me. Okay, y'all know what this is. How about this? Wait a minute. No. Public defenders. I want to talk to y'all. Okay. let's talk to y'all. But wait a minute, this is a civil case, so it may not go to that kind of trial. These are civil cases. So no. I may not need a public defender on this. However, some folks may try to get cute and want to bring in a lawyer and this, that, and other to do the talking or whatever. What? What? This is what we say we're doing. So there's more to come. So this is just getting some shit together, but there's more to come, and y'all know that. Y'all know it. Y'all know it. Y'all know it. And let me go here. I'm gonna say this. Isn't Texas is a red state, right? It's a Republican-led state and carrying on. Because I got a feeling that every state that is Republican led, okay, that I believe all of those states are going to be the ones that's going to want to piggyback on this particular legislation. And it's going to be one of these particular talking points when we start talking about the gubernatorial races, because I know here in Georgia, ours is next year for 2022. There should be a number of them coming up for 2022. A lot of governors being reelected and carrying on. And then, of course, you're going to set up for 2024 for the next elections. Okay, presidential elections and carrying on. So what is this? What is the, I believe this is a bigger plan, because I think this here is to get everybody up and running and things of that nature. So I don't know. Let me go back to the comments, Chad. Lord. Okay. Texas is trying to set the bar for sending Americans back into the dark ages. I can't fuck with that one. Okay. Defunding, aka disbanding the police, is not a new thing. It has been done in cities over a decade plus, like in Camden, New Jersey. Yes, we understand all that, but it's not whether or not this is a new thing or not. That's not the issue. The thing of it is that now what has happened is we are now on this as a politicized item. Okay. Folks have been doing this, before. We've been talking about that, independently in different cities. A lot of times when we had I know Detroit, we had stress. Down here in Georgia, we had the Red Devils and those renegade police officers and things to where, they were attacking black and brown people and carrying on and this, that, and the other. And a lot of folks are like, for defunding or disbanding those particular entities and things that do something different with the money, like building mini stations and carrying on in certain in neighborhoods. So that particular argument has always been in existence. But now what we have it on this national political platform to where it has now been politicized to a point where that's all folks want to talk about as a hot button issue to win elections and to this, that, and the other and all this other bullshit, And so now it becomes a talking point that's landing on deaf ears, because now, nobody wants to sit down there and disband the entire police force because that's stupid. But a lot of folks are not really thinking about what they're saying when they say defund the police. That's not what they mean. They don't mean it the way how it sounds, defund them. I think they're saying, okay, let's have somebody regulate the spending. Let's look at how you're spending this money and allocate those funds logically. Go into better training facilities, better training techniques, mental health care for a lot of the officers and carrying on. In fact, all of them. Every police officer needs to have some kind of ongoing mental health care that is not some 6 times a motherfucking year. Okay. They need ongoing mental health checks and carrying on because of the nature of the job. So when we talk about that, at least that has always been my definition. But the argument becomes, folks hear the word defund and they think that folks are saying to get rid of the police. And that's the stupidest thing on this side of creation, because as long as you have people, you're going to have crime, because folks, it's just in our nature to do dastardly shit as human beings. The human id is designed to do dastardly shit to find out what we can and cannot get away with. And one of the things that we must understand is that every action has a reaction and a proper consequence. Okay. Yes, I said it and I mean it. Okay. Pride, sorry to hear that, man. Thanks, Pride. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, my son, he died on July 12th, and yeah, while he was still, we were still dealing with all this in the prison system, and they to make a long story short, they just didn't get him to the doctor in time. We have been calling to tell him when he told us that he wasn't feeling well. And that they were not getting him to the doctor. I called down there on two different occasions to get them to get my baby to the doctor, and they did not. They told me, "Oh, we'll look into it." They told me that twice, a week apart. So, yeah, when they finally did it, because the inmates was like, "Listen, y'all need to come and get him because something's wrong." When they finally got him to the hospital, it was a little too late. Whatever was going on, they want to say it was a blood clot or whatever. But he went in on a Wednesday. My baby was dead Sunday night, early Monday morning. His system had started shutting down and things. So they did not get my baby to the hospital, okay, in a timely fashion because they were looking into it. That's what they told me. Oh, we'll look into it. Yeah. Okay, so but all that because we were sitting up here waiting 2 years to go to fucking trial, and they kept setting the bail so high to where they, shit, we didn't have property or nothing to do that, so we couldn't get him out on bail and things of that nature. So or bond him out rather. So 2 years, and that was him. Okay, and then he's telling me folks been up in there for 5 years or whatever, still waiting to go to trial. And then on top of them waiting, we got hit with a pandemic that put everything back another year and a half. See, plus he's in Columbus, Georgia. That's in the Muskogee County. They had elections, so now they had a new sheriff, a new DA that done came in. So we're dealing with all that, and I'm sharing all this again because if you're hearing where I'm going with the complications in the court system. You have now just empowered citizens to sit down and to do something real stupid. Now, yes, that's Texas right now, but we know that's coming across the board because all of the red states are going to try to adopt this, especially now that the Supreme Court upheld it. So now everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon because that's a lot of that bullshit. As far as a political party is concerned, and so this is about to get real hairy. Real hairy. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Red Dogs in Atlanta. Yeah. They were the ones that had taken down. The last thing that they did, I believe, that went public was when they came in with the Eagle, which is the gay bar here in Atlanta, but no longer. They were the ones that went up in there and put everybody's face to the ground and carried on allegations and blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's your cash out? My cousin not gonna make it.
Oh
no.
So let me go here. Pride says, I totally agree with you about defunding so much that I wish there was a different title because it doesn't mean get rid of police, but to reallocate funds and responsibilities of the police department. Exactly. Okay. So that there is that at this particular moment. So again, as this story unfolds and carried on, honey, we're going to get into a couple more things with this, and oh, Lord have mercy. We're going and a lot. I know I'm waiting for those who are pro-lifers to come on here. We haven't had a lot of them yet, but I know they're going to come up in here and want to start some bullshit as far as arguing about the life of the child and this, that, and other. And my argument stands. If you're so busy worried about the life of the child, honey, take your ass down here to the orphanages, get your ass in the foster care system and carry on and get these babies that nobody wants and everybody keep throwing away or people are abusing, because what you have not answered is, what are we going to do when the kids get here? Because you bitch, moan, and complain about the welfare system, folks being on food stamps and this, that, and the other. But yet, you want to sit there and say, oh, well, that life matters. Okay, and it does, because all lives matter. Okay, all lives matter in this particular case. Okay, all lives matter. And you want to be the voice of the unborn child. Well, honey, where are you to help take care of these children? Because if everybody who was pro-life was doing their part, then what we see here in this world, honey, we will not have so much sex trafficking. We will not have so much of these juvenile delinquents. We wouldn't have a lot of stuff that we see wrong with children. We wouldn't have a lot of bullies either. Okay, if everybody who was pro-life did what the fuck they're supposed to be doing, that you say supposed to be done for these children. Okay, so having said all that, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna take a little commercial break at this particular moment. When we come back, honey, we're gonna get into some debauchery children. Tyler Perry got a new show coming out, baby. And well, no, not Tyler Perry. It's Tyler Perry Studios, because they're filming it there. They got a new director and a whole new. I'm gonna show you the clip when we come back. Okay. Right now, honey, this is about to be something.
Whether you are a resident or visiting the ATL, if you need to satisfy your soul and your hunger with some good old-fashioned scrumptious victuals, then head on over to Tara Boulevard and feast at the Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet. The Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet has a mouth-watering array of delicious delicacies that will tempt your tummy, tantalize your taste buds, and please your palates. All of our items on the buffet are made from scratch, just like Grandma used to make. Try our meatloaf, the succulent fried chicken, the smothered pork chops, the short ribs, the fried and baked fish. Try our oxtails, the turkey wings, and don't forget some of those fantastic sides with the macaroni and cheese, cornbread dressing, greens, cabbage, red beans and rice, potatoes and gravy, and oh my God, don't forget the cornbread and those decadent desserts. Your hunger will not be denied. Come on down to the Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet, located at 8562 Tara Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia. Come on down and tell them that Big Meech and Dishing Tea I sent you. Yeah. Angelo Ellerby, the Henry Higgins of hip-hop, is the founder, president, and CEO of Double Exposure Media Relations. Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in publicity, photography, artist promotion and artist development, makeup artistry, event production, and EPK development. Celebrating over 45 years in the industry, Angelo believes that a culture that does not take care of nor respect its artists is a culture that leaves nothing behind to appreciate. Let Angelo help you make dollars and cents of the entertainment industry. Contact Double Exposure Media Relations at 201-224-6570. That's 201-224-6570.
All right, and we are back. We are back. Hey now. Let me go to the comments because I see folks have come up in here and things and want to get their perspectives in. Let's see what we got right here. Mr. Michael Calhoun, what you say? I think every woman should have a choice whether or not he wants to hear my voice, because sometimes people are not ready for a child. So if that be the case, do I have kids? If that be the case, do I have kids that mistreat them? I guess why have kids and mistreat them? I think that's what you're trying to say in that. But okay, okay, all right. I feel you on that. Hey y'all, taking care of some other business. We'll check back in a little bit later. All right, Bugs, thanks for stopping by. What is going on with my articulators today, Tab? Okay, I want some. Inbox the info. What you want, baby? You want that Country Kitchen Cuisine, baby, down here on Tara Boulevard. If you're in the Atlanta area, down on Tara Boulevard in Jonesboro, right there, honey. I'm telling y'all, Thursdays through Sundays, from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m., baby. You go down there and get you. It's a soul food buffet. The food is very, 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 very fresh. They constantly turn it over, as far as keeping the things together. Now, when you go in, you got to glove up and stuff in order to serve yourself and things of that nature. And the food is what's off of the chain. And y'all know I'm a foodie, honey, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna steer you wrong about no food, baby. I ain't gonna steer you wrong. Y'all going down there. Let tell Pastor Jimmy, honey, that big meat sit you here. Okay. How much is it? If you go up in there, depending on what they have on the buffet, usually it's like $15.99 for all you could eat. If you don't want to sit there and eat, you can get it a to-go tray. And that will include meat, 2 sides, and bread and a dessert. And I think that is like $8.99 to go. And what they do, they allow you to come in and to look to see what's on the board on the buffet. And once you something that you like or whatever, then you go pay for your plate. They give you a tray. Then you make your tray and come on back, and you can take it on with you. Okay. So yeah. Now, if you are a foodie like me, honey. My God, today. Now, y'all know I can't eat as much as I used to. Okay, my eyes are still bigger than my stomach. But one of the beauties about this place that I adore is that if you get full with your plate, honey, they'll let you take what you have on your plate. They'll let you take that to go. So you can say, oh, can I get a to-go box? And they'll let you take that home. Okay. You know how a lot of other places, if you eat and get full, they won't let you take the food home. They will allow you to do that. Okay. So that there was really, 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 really cute. So yeah, I want you to have a topic about the Aretha Franklin movie. Honey, you missed that. But if you come in Sunday, I'll bring you in so you can talk about it, because we talked about the movie and all of that. Okay. But yeah, on Sundays is I said what I said, and that's when we give all of our listeners an opportunity. You get to come up here on the panel with me, and I'll give you 5 minutes, baby, to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And if you want to talk about the Aretha Franklin movie, bring it, honey, bring it, because I want to hear your thoughts about it. Okay. So listen, let me go here, because I said we want to get into some debauchery, right? Let's look at this. And let's look at this, and let's look at this. Wait a minute, let me before I play it, let me run my banner, because this is a promo. However, the kids want to try to ding the children and say that we don't have permission, and that bothers me, because I'm like, this is what you're using to promote your shit. So if this is already for the public use, why in the hell do you say we can't talk about it or use it? So this here is under the copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, and this is allowing me to use this under the fair use proposal, okay, for purposes such as criticisms, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, okay? So we're going to talk about this. Y'all look at this and let's go.
There's some hoes in this house.
All right, fellas. It's game time.
There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. There's some
Excuse me. There are no photos allowed.
Y'all bitches crazy.
What is your name?
Keisha, my nose is bleeding.
Keisha. My nose is bleeding. Is no longer allowed in my establishment. Get the fuck out. $60 days in a halfway house and you're free.
I just gotta find a job and stack some money.
You can always work the door at the club. If you're gonna be in this business, you're gonna have to be smart. This business is cutthroat.
This is my money. This is my life.
The kind of money we make, you are mine. My daddy was a gangster. The shit that I've done, the shit that I have seen, if I have to come back here, I swear I'm gonna kill everything breathing. She wanna go gutter, she gonna end up in one. You obviously don't know who the fuck I am.
Turn around. I wanna look in your face when I shoot you. You don't want to start this war.
I'm not starting it. I'm winning.
Nothing personal. It's just business.
keep an eye on her, let you know when I think it's time to move.
That woman is Satan's sister. Everything that I do from here on out, I do on my own. All hail the queen.
All the queen's men.
Let's get back inside. Show these motherfuckers why we number one.
Okay, what you think? Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Huh? For what I'm going to call the male version of P-Valley. Okay? And we knew it was coming. Okay? We knew it was coming. Okay? But here's the question I want to pose to everybody. Okay? When it comes down to the male exotic dancer, okay, and it kills me that we have to always stress that, because we just can't say exotic dancers anymore, you know, and let that be. We have to say, oh, I'm a male exotic dancer. Well, shit, if a man is saying it, if a man says I'm an exotic dancer, what else are you going to be? Okay, why do we have to qualify by saying a male exotic dancer? Anyway, there's always but are we ever going to allow the culture itself to be open to men being in the business, or are we just going to treat it all as sex workers and see men who are dancers as sex workers and whores and sluts and carrying on? Because it's okay for girls to do it. I mean, even though it's still a stigma, you know, our society still expects women to sell sex and to be, you know, alluring and captivating and all of those things. Okay, we still expect those kinds of things from women. Okay, as sexist as that sounds, you know, our society and our culture is still, you know, we haven't even tackled that. As a matter of fact, I don't even think we want to tackle that, outside of saying, oh, this is degrading women and blah 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 blah. And I have a problem with that too, because I'm like, no, it's not degrading women, honey. If a woman says this is her choice to do it, how is that degrading? If she says that you have the right, I'm giving you the okay to touch my body, what is degrading about that, outside of the treatment that you don't like because they may be into something else? That's a whole nother conversation. But when it comes down to men, because we don't never hear about it being, oh, that's degrading me, oh, that you're degrading yourself and blah. We never hear that kind of conversation when it comes to men or the male exotic dancer, and particularly Black male exotic dancers. Okay, why don't we ever have that particular conversation? Okay, or do we? And it's just not broadcast, or it's not on the bigger platform, you know, and not just from the religious aspect, because I know the church is going to say, you know, the church has always got something to say, and this, that, and the other that has to do with lasciviousness and debauchery and sin, you know. It's always that. However, we have not had those particular conversations. And then I'm going to go into something here. Let me go into something here that's going to be very sensitive, and I may lose all of my men up in here, okay? Because this is a subject that maybe men don't want to talk about, and I know straight men don't want to talk about another man's dick. However, why is it that in these particular instances, because the whole idea of the male exotic dancer is to sell sex, right? But then at the same time, why is it that why do women and gay men penis shame folks? Because, you know, you penis shame them or dick shame them for something that is out of their control. Okay? I was hoping I had the clip in this particular, because there's another trailer that they have. And in the particular trailer, the guy comes to the owner, and, you know, he wants to work at the club, and she tells him, if your dick is not is anything below the number of digits in your telephone number, then don't come knocking at my door. Okay. Y'all know a telephone number now is, it's 10, technically 11, but it's 10 digits because we don't have to dial the 1 anymore. Okay. So in that particular aspect of it, why is it that we have built a culture? We talked about this before on the show, but I don't think we got any traction on it because, again, I think folks get quiet when it comes down to talking about men and carrying on. And then, it takes us into areas that, may be a little sensitive or whatever the case may be. And folks don't want to look at it from a serious perspective. But why is it that, the dick shaming is something that is prevalent? We got songs out about, everything is all about that. If you want to embarrass a man, you tell him that, he ain't but that big and blah, 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 blah. Why is it that we allow this kind of shaming to happen with men? It's in line with body shaming and fat shaming and slut shaming and all that, all of the shames. Okay. When you're shaming, honey, and just wonder, and why is it that there is that? But I want to specifically go on the penis shaming because that's out of folks' control. They ain't got nothing to do with that. That there, everybody want to talk about what ain't natural, what's natural, this, that, now that there is directly from God. So, honey, are you mad at God or are you mad at the fella? Okay, so, and why is it that shaming is so important? And that's probably the bigger question. Why is it that shaming is so important? Oh, we are so quiet. Honestly, y'all quiet on this. Y'all always get quiet on this. Okay, y'all always get quiet. And this is the shit that bothers me because see, these are the kind of conversations that we have to have. These are the conversations that we have to have because one of the things is that when we talk about dealing with self-esteem and confidence and things of that nature, a lot of stuff are in line with everything. And then with men, one of the things about being male in this world is that everything revolves around our sex. Everything about your health revolves around your sex. Child, you can't, if you go get a blood test, honey, they're gonna tell you how checking your blood is gonna tell you how to have sex better. Blah 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 blah. So that there is where a lot of this is. So here, when we're talking about the male exotic dancer, darling, the sexy moves they're carrying on. Those who invest, and I'm gonna call it like those who make money off of using their bodies, okay? Because it's a step above modeling, because models do the same thing, right? Except they may not dance or whatever. Or is this adult modeling? Because I know for those who got into the porn industry, they call it adult modeling and this, that, and the other. Excuse me. I'm getting caught up. But so when we have that, why is it that in this particular business, I don't see men having the same scrutiny that women have, even though it's accepted amongst women, and I think that's the hypocrisy in it. As much as it is accepted for women to do, it has so much shame and scrutiny attached to it, to it's ridiculous. At the same time, we don't have that same scrutiny when it comes down to men, And with this particular show coming on. Okay, with this particular show, yeah, this is going to be very, 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 very interesting. Pride, what you say? Wow, that small sample reminded me of P-Valley, which I didn't like at all. I feel like I have read this book before and have no interest in it at all. Okay, what didn't you like about it? Is the fact that is it overly sex? What is it that you didn't like about it? Okay, this looks interesting. Okay. Hey, Road done came up in here. What's going on, baby? Okay. Lanier said, for some women, it might be a retaliation for how males have long breast shame women, which is beyond a woman's control. And for males, it has been out of their control, makes it easy. It's a punk move. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But see, one of the things, here's the thing about the breast shaming. Breast shaming is something that can easily be remedied. Okay. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of folks who don't believe in a large-breasted woman because they figure that more than a handful or a mouthful is too much, you know. So once you get into that range, there is. And we could probably say the same thing about men who are, you know, average or below average. And a lot of women, well, I won't say a lot, there are women out there who claim or who have said that they prefer smaller men or whatever, or they're not size queens or whatever. However, in the world where we have everything about a man's size being everything to him, particularly black men, and we have always had to deal with the stigma and the stereotype of what the black anatomy is, the black male anatomy, that there, I think that may be a little bit different to overcome, because now if a woman is experienced, you know, hell, most of the time, well, let me say, I won't say most of the time, I'm gonna say in my experiences in listening to women and talking to women, even as a gay man, with the men that I've been with sexually, most of the time, I'm not a size person anyway, but the women that I have come in contact with who said they're not size children, that's not what they're going for, you know, right off the bat. You know, they're looking for the personality and how a man makes them feel and how they organically go into the session. You know what I'm saying? And by the time they get to where they're ready to give themselves to one another, size is not an issue at this point, because now I done got so involved with you to where I just want to be a part of you. I want to share you, and I want to share myself with you. And that there has always been the case in my experiences and in having these kinds of conversations. But when it's one-on-one tricking or whatever, you got folks who claim that, oh, well, that's just my preference. And oh, you got to have something that make me feel that and blah. All of those craziness. Okay, yeah. Okay. Pride. Okay, that is completely from a different perspective. But when we are going to get some good creative shows of substance, but when are we going to get some creative shows of substance? Seems like we get more and more of the same old things, such as crime shows that we as Black people used to complain about, except now we are the ones writing, producing, and directing these shows now. Ooh, okay. 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 Well, let me go here. Let's go here since we're gonna talk about television shows and things, because I still hold the argument that when the Cosby Show was on, and I had Black folks sit down and tell me they couldn't relate to the Cosby Show. Okay. When the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was on, they related to that because it was comedy. You know, it was comedy. And it, you know, they had a little bit of coin, but the idea of it being a sitcom was because you got somebody who came from Philly, from the hood, you know, and now he brought the hood to the suburbs, you know, and to the highfalutin stuff. And so I think a lot of folks were still connected better because they feel that they still had some hood in it, you know, and it wasn't all prim and proper or whatever the case may be. And it wasn't upper class. It wasn't a middle class. It wasn't upper middle class. It wasn't upper class. You know, the way how the Cosby's gave us. The Cosby's gave us a middle class, upper middle class family, honey, where both parents were you know, astute people, you know, that were raising their children and gave us real situations. You know, I never understood when folks said they couldn't get it, you know, but now, is that what we want? Because we keep saying we want to write our own stories and tell our own stories or whatever. But then when we tell a story, we always want to go back to the cussing and the fussing and the shooting and the bang 'em ups and this, that, and the other. And we keep saying that, oh, well, I'm speaking from my experience. But we have more experiences than that. How did you get through all of that? What did you do at night, honey? You know, how did you get to school? What did you do to dream bigger than that? You know, what is it? You know, show us can we get a movie about the dream, honey? If you in the hood, what is it that you dream about to get you out of this shit? Okay. How is it that you saw your life? Where did it unfold? You know what I'm saying? What is it? If you didn't have your father in your life, do we have a movie where it's the dream of what I think my father is? And how we get caught up in the fantasy of that and then compare that to who he really is. You know what I'm saying? Do we have that? There's a number of stories that can be told, but I think for a lot of us, when we're trying to get marketing and ratings and we get folks to come in on it, it looks to be that way. This particular show, All Hail the Queen, no, all the Queen's Men, excuse me. I am going to catch it because my girl Rashawn Ali from Sister Circle Live, she's going to be in it, and I met Eva before, so that's the one who's playing the lead character, Eva Marcel. So I'm going to watch it to check it out to see what it's about. But I know it's going to be sexually laced because we have all of the dancing and things of that nature. And then here's the other thing that I hope they capitalize on, and that I want to see the sexuality of women expressed. Because see, have y'all ever been to a male strip joint and just paid attention to women? If you're not been, I'm sure you've seen videos and carrying on that's going around where women actually rape them damn dancers on the stage trying to get at his package and want to slap his ass. They are oh my God, women are absolutely notorious. Absolutely fucking notorious. And we don't hear about that all the time because in this particular world, for whatever reasons, we still are under the impression that men cannot get raped. And that is the furthest, that's one of the biggest lies on this side of creation. It's just that men don't believe that they want to talk about it or whatever, because a man ain't never supposed to tell a woman no when it comes down to sex and this, that, and the other in the eyes of the majority. And folks feel, and a lot of folks may say, no. You may say, obviously, yes, and this, that, and the other, but a lot of people feel that if a man turned down a woman, then either he gay or something wrong with him, because the man don't get raped. And when I had men tell me that bullshit, just before I moved down here to Atlanta, honey, I was on my job and we had this very discussion. And the discussion was, how when you go out or whatever, you go in the pack, right? And so the thing is, if you're going to leave without us, bitch, we need to know who you with. So you bring them by the table, or at least you point them out or whatever, so we can sit down here and ID this fool to see what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And every man that was there would sit up there and go, nah, I'm good. I don't need all that. And it's like, nigga, she could be setting you up or anything. You sitting there trying to act as if you so tough or whatever, but because your dick is finna give her, you think your dick is finna do all the talking, you don't know what the hell she got waiting on you back at the joint. And I had somebody tell me, oh, well, I'll take my chances because now. I'm like, what in the hell is the matter with Neanderthal thinking like that? But that there is where it is. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the flip side of that. And that there is, maybe you don't want to show me because it's somebody that you should be fucking with. Or it may be somebody that one of your boys was trying to get with. And you know, sit up there and ran the inside play or whatever, and cock blocked and all that kind of stuff. See, it's a number of things, but the bigger picture that I was trying to get at is about how we don't do a checks and balance, and that men can get raped. But child, they sit up there, oh my God, honey, everybody I talk to is nah, and it became that whole big old thing. I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah. Size queens equals blown out queens. Checkmate. Okay. Okay, when the Cosby Show started, it was Cliff, not Heathcliff. And Cosby was a blue-collar person. I believe a plumber or an electrician. Not the first episode. The very first episode of Cosby, that first one, the house wasn't what it was, but he was still a doctor. He wasn't an electrician. He was doing a lot of plumbing work and stuff around that house, but he wasn't an electrician at that time. Now what did happen was they had in the beginning of the Cosby Show, they had 4 kids, and then at the second season, they end up having 5 mysteriously. Okay, so yeah, but so be that as it may. Ooh, okay. So, what we got, Linnea? I keep readjusting in this seat because I got one of those pillows that's supposed to do good for your back and all this kind of jazz. But I believe this bitch is chafing the hell out of me because I keep moving because I'm like, oh, this is rubbing me wrong. Okay. I always say that most size queens become that way by following the dick shaming. So they start out larger penises, but never learn how to maintain their bodies to get back to tightness that can feel, thereby appreciating a smaller penis. Now, you know what? Okay, they don't do their Kegels. They don't do they don't do their Kegel exercises, honey. Okay. And they end up doing damage and blowing themselves out and carrying on into areas that really and truly makes no sense. Listen, here's where this is, child. Yes, sex is damn good. Sex is wonderful. Sex is all of those particular things. But here is the real Gaga, child. For those of you who enjoy being penetrated, whether you're male or female, honey, your box is not meant to be jumped on, pounded on, and et cetera, on a daily basis, the way that you claim that you like it. It needs a rest every now and again. Okay? Every now and again, honey. You have to have some rest. If you don't, honey, you end up destroying all of your pH balance and carrying on. You destroy all of that. Men, for men who like to get penetrated, child, you want to sit down there and look blown out and carry it on, honey. That shit, you're not supposed to do this on a daily basis, especially the way how everybody claims they like to get pounded and this, that, and the other. Oh my God, and flipping and dipping. You're bad. Okay. When do you let your body rest to heal? Okay. It's just like with a woman after she has a baby or whatever, honey. You're not supposed to have sex right away. You got to give your body time to heal. Okay, so that there's not a lot of internal damage and stuff done. But you can't tell a bitch that, honey. You can't tell them that. You can't tell them that. You can't tell them that, child. Because, and again, that goes back to sexual addiction and the differences between sexual appetite and this, that, and the other. Honey, you can't tell these children that. And then for those children who believe that oral sex is not sex, child, that's a whole nother goddamn conversation. Okay, it says oral sex. Sex is in the goddamn description. But y'all, I had a number of people say, "Oh, that's not real sex, honey. Penetration is when it's real sex." I just saw that in somebody's group. Somebody was trying to explain that penetration sex is sex because it is meant for procreation and this, that, and the other. And you're not having sex if you're not having penetrative sex to have a baby. And the child said, "Well, if your dick is in my mouth, bitch, hell, you penetrated my mouth." Anywho, that there is that. Okay, I see. Finish chewing. Red down up in here, ready. Red is trying to get up in here. He just popped in. Be that as it may. Hold on. You missed the clip, Red. We're sitting up talking about this new show coming on called All the Queen's Men. It's the male version of P-Valley. I'm calling it that because it's a whole about black male strip joints and carrying on. And Eva Marcel is the club owner and this, that, and the other. And she's gangster and blah 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 blah. So it's gonna have a different take on it. But right now, until it starts streaming, I'm calling it the male version of P-Valley.
Damn. I should have tried out for that.
I'm gonna let that be. Okay. I'm gonna let that be. I'm just gonna let it be.
I'm just saying. Oh, you think all big niggas eat sausage? Some of us can slang it.
Listen, like she told the dude in one of the clips, honey, if you ain't got enough that's anything less than the digits of your phone number, honey, don't come back.
All right. Bend over.
All right. So be that as it may. But the question that why we're talking about this so rauncily or whatever is about, you know, the whole idea of male exotic dancers. You know, can they ever be artists, you know, and dancers, or let's start it over. Or are we going to only see them as sex workers and those trying to get over, you know?
Well, the problem here, and I'm glad that we're on this subject tonight because I seem to be a professional in this. No, for 4 or 5 years, I was a manager of a very, very popular group of male dancers. And anybody on here that's from the Virginia area probably would know me because I was one of the sole creators and people that put together the doggone dance group of men called, get this, they were, how can I put this? I put it like this: they were like the Tidewater dancers, like for all over Virginia, pretty much. You know, I'm not gonna get off into it because there's some legal stuff going on with that. But it's like I had the pleasure of teaching them how to doggone monopolize the business.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem that lies within the question that you're speaking on, or actually subject matter you're speaking on, is you have a cross between a lot of them putting themselves out for hire.
Oh.
And you have and then you have also within that for hire bridge, some of them are on both sides of the water.
A lot of them are, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them not. And I mean, I had 2 of them in my group, you know what I'm saying, that were
gay for pay.
Bruh, one of them, the day I met him when he walked in, his stage name was Love Sexy. And I looked him in his face with that damn eyeliner on. And you know what? Matter of fact, it's past the statute of limitations. So if anybody that was ever in the Virginia area in the 90s and stuff, I'm sure you heard of the Ultimate Breed male dancers. We were on the radio. We were at every club there was in Virginia Beach. If you were ever there, the mainstream radio FM stations played our commercials. And every ladies' night of every doggone club in the doggone area that was about anything, we were the feature every ladies' night. We set a doggone precedence for male dancing in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it was great, but then it became a major babysitting job. But I was able to make those guys so much money that they quit their regular jobs. And some of them didn't even have tuition, owed nothing when they got out of school.
Well, how about that?
Only because of my business mind, which you already know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If I can dream it, I can stream it. And that's just, I believe it. So I have put it in a position. I look at it like this. We cut a deal with one of the major clubs. And when they took the bait, I was like, well, if they'll do it, why won't the rest of the majors, you know what I'm saying, do it? Because there's a lot of big clubs down there, like, you know what I'm saying, like you would be in New York or Chicago somewhere. So, and I said, well, so I just started frequently, club to club, meeting the owners. Didn't want to talk to management. I want to talk to the owner because I needed decisions immediately.
Right.
And everything I did was contractual.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying, long story short, 5 clubs, 5 days a week. Ladies' night at each club was a different night because they want that draw. They don't want to book heads. So I got each of their ladies' night at $1,700 a night. My motherfucking thing was to make sure they had 5 dancers. I paid them $100 a head.
Right.
And they get all their tips.
Right.
And what I did with that $200 is I paid insurance because I had insurance on my group. You literally can twist your ankle on the stage and I get your medical treatment and your dog don't get workman's comp.
Okay.
But when you don't get workman's comp, only when somebody beating your ass because the wife done paid for you to smash.
Right.
I had those problems. What you don't get worked in the comp on is when you keep constantly running up and somebody that you think is just a doggone down low situation and they in love and you're not.
Okay. Right.
So artist wise, I'll say no, because they were self-inflicted when it comes to tarnishing their doggone craft.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of them on the other side of selling dick and ass that there's not enough of them over here to make an artistry out of it.
Very interesting.
You feel what I'm saying?
Very, very interesting.
When it comes to taking something to the level of calling it art, where somebody can effectively, you know what I'm saying, get something where it's a monetary gain, you know, like a institution. We're gonna open up a school and teach them exactly the doggone in the do's and the don'ts of being an exotic male dancer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When it gets to that point, it's because it's the positive side of it is what shines across the United States of America, but that's not what shines. And we know that's not what shines.
Right.
I have seen a lot of them where I've had private parties where they booked us for private parties where the bride to be didn't have no tonsils. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So I've seen it all when it comes to that male dancer situation. I mean, sure, we used to have this is funny, but we go to the club, right? I used to have the same at different clubs. I would have the same group of girls waiting on us to show up because I used to treat them like stars.
Mm-hmm.
Meet them somewhere. They meet at a mall parking lot. They park their cars, and of course, you already know that I used to be part of a limousine company.
Right.
So park their cars. They get into the limo, and we pull up to whatever club we're working that night in a stretch limo. And they get out, and part of my contract with the club was their name was up in lights on ladies' nights, up on the doggone billboard.
Mm-hmm.
They on the flyers, and they on the commercial for that night. So I made the headliners. You got a line of women at each club, each ladies' night down the wall, and this stretch limo pull up, and they get out looking like the Jackson 5. You know, they all do. So that's the type of shit I did. Made a major buzz all over Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Portsmouth, all that. But when I say the same group of women at each place, we call them fluffers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was amazing to see that they were waiting to be chosen as the fluffer for each night.
Right. Right.
Like, last week you didn't get chose with the chick next to you that's back again along back that she got chose. But you're gonna go back here and fluff anyway.
Right.
So they fluffed them and put on the cock rings and all that for them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So and again, they have to see that artistry. I say no. I say, can it be if they doggone can push it to a positive level? Because it's a beautiful thing. I always said that doggone, saying female dancing, the pole dancing, and all that. I think it's a beautiful thing, but it's going to have to be pushed to a positive light in the United States because right now it all looks like prostitution.
Especially now that they want to take pole dancing and try to make it an Olympic sport.
Exactly.
They want to make, but now I'm gonna tell you what P Valley did. P Valley absolutely gave us an inside track visually on what the dancing side of that is, because the director of that damn show to give us just the inside thoughts and the breathing and how they sit up there counting to make sure they're on this pole and don't drop, and the athleticism of being up there on this pole and blah, 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 blah. We saw that with this particular show. That was a little different, than just understanding I'm out here selling sex and, being promiscuous and all of that. We absolutely got to see, what it takes to do this particular work and to be successful at it. And so now that we have this new show, All the Queen's Men, about to it starts streaming on the 9th, y'all, of September on BET Plus. So now that we have this about to come into play, and then again we're looking at this from a black perspective, because this is all black male well, I'm assuming, just because all we have is just a trailer. A black male exotic dancers, okay, from that particular aspect, you know, the whole idea of being, you know, the body beautiful children. There's always the body beautiful children that they talk about in these things, you know, and understanding what this is, what it means, you know, how is it that a man gets into this, you know, because we don't hear about what that is. What draws a man to say, okay, yeah, let me go up in here and shake my ass and my dick in front of these bitches' faces?
And you know, and I used to have jokes of, I used to pick at my dancers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I used to pick at them because I had one I called. He was the captain. I kind of had him the team captain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when I wanted something or something came down last minute, I would call him and he'd round up who I needed for whatever.
Right, right.
So, but I used to tease him. I'm like when he bring in a new recruit to introduce him to me, I would tease him. I'm like, okay, well, I want to know, like, how you walk up to this man, like, hey, man, you got a hell of physique, man. I was just noticing how tight your ass was, and everybody laughing, right?
Right.
I'm like, how many times you done got beat up? So he say, no, I don't do it like that. He used to be mad, like, quit playing. I'm not playing, bro. Like, I really want to know, how do you approach another man that you know that would be good for this craft? Because you're great at what you do.
Right.
Really, it's something that you can recognize that I don't see. I'm not a dancer.
Right.
So, and he pretty much told me, he said, and this is going to get you right here, Meech. He said the mannerisms are everything of a 5-digit income per year and up.
Wow.
He said, everybody look at it like scum bottom, slutville,
right?
Dog ass niggas. He said, but the articulation and the doggone appreciation of the human body that he sees them doing when they're in the gym or out in the park, or they're carrying themselves, and you see a man and he's so well groomed and manicured, and the shit he matching all the way down to his socks, but he's still a heterosexual man. You know what I'm saying? So be it. You know what I'm saying? From what I see from a distance, I can't call him what he is.
Right, dig it.
He
so
said he's
masculine. Okay.
He sees a masculine man that has feminine swag.
Ha, the metrosexual, bitch.
Bam!
Oh, bitch!
I told you was gonna catch it. I told you was gonna catch it. That's what I'm talking about.
Bitch.
Before metrosexual, there was male exotic dancers.
You know what? God damn it! Wait a minute. That just made me hot. That just made me. Ooh. Wait a minute. I'm trying to throw something at the screen. I'm trying to throw something at the screen.
I had to tell you.
I'm trying to throw something at the screen. Ooh.
All those years I did that, I never had a word for it. And then years later, metrosexual hit the screen. And I said, well, damn, there it is.
Damn. Now that's gravy. That's gravy right there. Okay, because I was about to flip that question to you as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
But then you just said it. You made him the captain that made him to be the recruiter. Mm-hmm. I just handle the business. Okay.
Always.
Okay. Okay. Let me go to the comments. Let me go over to the comments. Let's see. I forgot the name of the show, but the guy that created The Wire had another show on HBO about the sex industry in New York in the 70s and how it led to the huge success of the porn industry. The Av, maybe. It was incredible. And with great writing, good acting, creative characters with depth and substance. And most of the characters were pimps, hoes, junkies, criminals, etc., which proves that a quality show can be made about such characters if the work is put in. I need to find out what show you're talking about.
I think that is.
Okay. Many women who worked at Lillian Vernon was at the club. Not Lillian Vernon. I'm gonna beat your ass, TJ, Lily, and Vernon. Okay. When they try to tell folks, honey, that's the people, honey, who to tell folks that a vibrator was a massager. It was a hand massager. They
Right.
worked on their face and shit.
Right.
Oh my Lord, honey.
Call it what you want to call it.
Right. Okay. Hey, my lovely friends. I can't stay tonight because my parents were visiting. Just wanted to pop in and say hello. Hey, Amy.
Amy.
Okay, right. Okay. But cheer. Let's see. 103 Jams in Norfolk would stand the man. Ladies would leave from the Broadway and head to the male strippers. It was also the club in Norfolk where all the gay females would go to see women dance.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
I used to male dance way back in the day, and it didn't faze me. Vaughn, this is my costume. Yeah, he was a dancer.
I know who that is.
Okay, he was back. Well, that's how we first met. Well, I wasn't at his show, but I knew him from someone. But he was getting together. He was making one of my costumes, but making one of his at the same time. And was on his way to a gig. I was like, what? He said, oh, I dance. I said, excuse me? You know, and carried on. And that's when we had Watts Mozambique and Henry's Place. And
let me tell you something about how I popped my cherry in the ATL. You know, as well, when I first got here, all I did was promoting security. I was a party promoter. My very, very, very first event in Atlanta, Georgia, was a Mother's Day show. And I bought all the male dancers. I don't know if you probably remember this being in media, but I bought all the male dancers down from Chicago that was on Sally Jesse.
Yes.
Every one of them that was on that stage. Chocolate Shake, Bodacious.
Motherfucking
Get It Wet.
Ooh.
To Atlanta for a Mother's Day show at the Atrium in Decatur.
You said motherfucking day. I remember that one.
Yes. So these are the guys that I know. I know these guys. So now I flew them down, put them in a hotel right down on Memorial Drive, maybe a mile away from the club. And Mother's Day, I packed that bitch up. One side I had, the side that we were on, we had the party like the night. Okay. That side was all men.
Okay.
And the other side with the big stage, all dancers from Chicago. I had one local dancer that was also a massage therapist. And his show, he integrated his massage table within his show.
Right, with the show.
And when I say I had them over there, titties out and taking panties off and everything, and them niggas was over there hearing them bitches scream, and they was getting excited, but they were steady drinking. I said, the more you drink, the better you be ready. Because when I open up these double doors, that middle bar, all free.
Okay.
Bruh. When I say one night, overhead probably was about $3,000. That was my overhead. 15 bands.
Wow.
One party. $15.
Yeah.
$20 a ticket, $25 at the door.
Yeah.
The pool on the other side was open. And the women that were there, and after that, there was two strippers that if you wanted to get in the swimming pool with them, it was $50 to go up that steps and go in the pool.
Right.
They butt ass naked in the pool.
Right. Yeah.
So I made about $400 or $500 on that.
So okay. I said that last night, metrosexual. Okay. The AJC did a whole thing on metrosexuals in the late 90s. Yeah, because Lillian Vernon Corporation was in Virginia Beach.
Virginia, yep. Yeah, TJ.
I am from Detroit, so unfortunately, you said unfortunately. I remember those commercials for Watch Club Mozambique and Henry's Place. It was Palace, Henry's Palace.
Channel 62.
Okay. On Channel 62. Yeah, that was our black station, honey. Okay.
Oh, you don't remember Channel 62 was the Detroit black station and Channel 52 was the Chicago black station.
Okay. It was a male and female strip joint on Roswell Road, right off of I-285. Oh, okay.
Well, you know what? That's true. That's true. I never got a chance to go over there, but I kept hearing about it.
Okay.
I heard a lot about that.
Okay. So yes, honey. Yes. But I wanted to get into that for a brief little moment because when we get into the whole idea of that. Now, TJ, you ain't weighed in on the dick shaming thing, honey. Okay. You ain't weighed in on that. And I haven't heard anybody, just a couple of folks, when it comes down to, I'm tying this together because oftentimes when we think male dancers and things, it's always about the sex, how big he is, and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But then you create this fantasy. And then when we go to the black man and those who are not your fantasy size or whatever, why is it that we have to dick shame people? And we have made that into a culture. We got a song on about it. Don't want no short dick man, honey.
I forgot about this.
Okay. Don't want no short dick man,
Teeny,
weeny, itty bitty short dick man. Okay. And it's like, we have established an entire subculture of shame when it comes down to that. And then it's on something that's the children can't do nothing about. And the options that are out there, why would anybody want to taint with surgical procedures down there? Because the risk is the damn thing may not work at all. That's the risk of it. Now, we were talking about breast implants, for women who, the itty bitty titty committee, okay, and how they get shamed or whatever for not having breasticles. But if they go get breast implants or whatever, the damn titty is functional still. Okay, it may be a botched job, but the bitch is still functional.
Right.
Okay. But if a man goes, the odds of him coming out of that particular procedure, not being able to use that damn thing, honey, are far greater, than having a procedure that's really cute.
That's too much fucking around for me.
Yeah, for me. Well, for me too. That's
too much fucking around. That's too much fucking around. Some shit you just don't do.
And there you have it. So it's just really interesting. So I know they're going to tackle that on this show because just like I said here in one of the trailers that's up on if you go to BET Plus and scroll down, you can see they got two trailers. The one I played here, and then they have the second one that I'm talking about, where she sits there, where she sits down and talks about if your member, honey, is anything less than the number of digits in your phone number, honey, then don't come back. So I'm sure they're going to talk about that and address that in some kind of way or whatever. So, okay. Let me see. What was this? The show I was referring to was The Deuce, and they incorporated the rise of HIV and the mafia's ownership of the porn industry, the X-rated movie theaters, etc. It is worth watching. Trust me. The Deuce. Okay. I have to look into that. Okay. But you say, yes, I did when I was at Heatism. Okay. I don't have a problem. I'm blessed, hung low if I pull my shit out, Bernie Mac. Okay. Okay, but no, the question is, and you said, yes, I did when I'm at Heatism. Okay, but as someone who was blessed, do you, and again, as a straight man, you probably won't, and this is why this conversation gets that way. Did y'all ever stop a woman from dick shaming men? I know I do with gay men all the time. I'm like, girl, that ain't his problem, Well, and then these old stupid ass queens want to get into the whole idea of, well, bitch, you got to come better than that, and this, that, and the other. Because, and I'm like, bitch, you ain't got no motherfucking walls. Oh, what the hell you talking about? Okay. Okay, shit, go up in there. Hello, echo.
Billy, how'd you get in here?
Okay, right. Okay, the Jimmy, honey, looking for Jimmy Hoffa. I found him. Okay, shit. Okay. But also, now here's the caveat, because now here's where I say that is warranted. It is warranted when you get somebody who is always talking about what he is, what he can do, yada. You know.
Okay, now psychologically, we all know what that is.
Okay, now we get those children, honey, who sit down there and they talk a good game, honey. They talk. You know, and then when it's all said and done, honey, when you get right there, when you get right there, then it becomes, okay, you did all this fucking talking, and this is what you got to work with, This and in those cases, that's where it becomes. It's just like, how I say about politicians who are so busy trying to slam, gay people and this, that, and the other. They're so busy, this, that, and the other. And then you find out that they secretly on the DL, they getting their dick sucked at the airport.
I know what that is. I've always known what that is.
Okay.
I have always known what that is.
Okay. So yeah, let me go here. Wait a minute, Pride, what you say? Watch, Mozambique, beat, featuring Chocolate Thunder. Yes. And Mr. Wiggles. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Can't stand you.
Hey, you know what? My guys with the Ultimate Breed, their name was the one I had as manager of the team. He was Star.
Okay.
Then I had Love Sexy.
I
had Iron Mike.
Okay.
And then one of the motherfuckers named himself after one of the Marvel X-Men. What's the motherfucker that he's
Cyclops?
No, the one to be
Wolverine.
What's that motherfucker that he was a bad one? Mystique or some shit like that.
No, Mystique was female. There was a Bandit.
I had a Bandit, but he used to dress up like a cowboy. All he wore was chaps and a vest with a hat.
Magneto.
I can't.
Shit. Okay. Now I'm okay.
This is so crazy. I can't remember what his stage name, but he was one of the craziest motherfuckers, and he had a whole wife and kid at home.
Okay, right.
But he was like crazy, and I was like, I understand why he wanted everybody to call him by his stripper name, because when I found that motherfucker's real name, I was like, yeah.
Okay. As you know, I work in a sex shop, and I have guys coming in all the time asking about penis pumps. I always warn them that if they haven't done the proper research, they could cause irreversible harm. So I try to guide them to the content with that they have. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because a lot of folks think that they could just go get one of them penis pumps or whatever and end up fucking up something and end up, they bust a blood vessel, honey. That's it. Okay. I've never dick shamed a man, but I've been with a man who couldn't fit and a man who could, but I wasn't satisfied. See? Okay. Yes, I will set a woman straight. And those pineapples, they're goddamn stupid. She said she wanted 10 inches and hurt her. I fucked her twice and hit her over the head with a brick.
Oh, I love it.
I'm not with you. I am not with you. Okay, Magneto. Ooh. Lord have mercy today.
Now, that's like one of my jokes was out. And bitch said, I want you to fuck the taste out of my mouth. So I got them, gave her a dick in the car, and I pushed her in the ER where Kobe was at.
Okay, no. I'm not with y'all. Stop it. Oh shit! It did got hot in here. Okay,
now you can't smell or taste nothing. There you go.
Yeah. All right, let me take a little commercial break. When we come back, we're going to one more topic, and then that's going to be the show for the day, honey. We shall be right back after a word from our sponsor. Ooh, how about that?
Whether you are a resident or visiting the ATL, if you need to satisfy your soul and your hunger with some good old-fashioned scrumptious victuals, then head on over to Tara Boulevard and feast at the Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet. The Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet has a mouth-watering array of delicious delicacies that will tempt your tummy, tantalize your taste buds, and please your palates. All of our items on the buffet are made from scratch, just like Grandma used to make. Try our meatloaf, the succulent fried chicken, the smothered pork chops, the short ribs, the fried and baked fish. Try our oxtails, the turkey wings, and don't forget some of those fantastic sides with the macaroni and cheese, cornbread dressing, greens, cabbage, red beans and rice, potatoes and gravy, and oh my God, don't forget the cornbread and those decadent desserts. Your hunger will not be denied. Come on down to the Country Kitchen Cuisine Buffet, located at 8562 Tara Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia. Come on down and tell them that Big Meech and Dishing Tea has sent you. Yeah.
Angelo Ellerby, the Henry Higgins of hip-hop, is the founder, president, and CEO of Double Exposure Media Relations. Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in publicity, photography, artist promotion and artist development, makeup artistry, event production, and EPK development. Celebrating over 45 years in the industry, Angelo believes that a culture that does not take care of nor respect its artists is a culture that leaves nothing behind to appreciate. Let Angelo help you make dollars and cents of the entertainment industry. Contact Double Exposure Media Relations at 201-224-6570. That's 201-224-6570.
Are you ready to continue the journey with talk show host, internet sensation, and author of Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, Big Meech? He is offering another installment of thought-provoking ideas, principles, and metaphors that will encourage, enlighten, inspire, uplift, and catapult you into a brand new evolution of accepting yourself in your total truth. Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations. The new book by Big Meech is infused with conversations of love and inspiration that gets right down to the real nitty-gritty. It will confront the reader with the proverbial mirror in an effort to take a deep, closer look within to find all that one needs to propel forward and make life happen. Get your copy today on Amazon.com or go to www.dishingtea.com. That's www.dishingtea.com. For more information, contact Big Meech at 404-914-5610. Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations. This message has been brought to you by Too Deep and Pastor Don Jr., CEO of the Winning Team.
The views and opinions expressed here on Dishing Tea TV are strictly those of the hosts and guests of this program. They do not reflect the views and opinions or governing actions of any of the sponsors or affiliates of Dishing Tea Entertainment, Artist First Entertainment, Big Guy ENT, Atlanta Hot Radio, Black GDP TV, or Diversity TV. Your viewing and listening discretion is advised. All right, and we are back. And I'm just not noticing I still had the damn banner running around. Okay.
Guess who's Bizak?
Okay. Let me go to the comments real quickly before we go into this next story. True story. Female friend of mine that grew up with me, in fact, today it's a birthday, started going to the strip clubs back when we were in our early 20s with her cousin and another friend of ours. Word on the street was that she was breaking those dancers off and buying gators and shit. Come to find out, a cat I went to middle school with was one of the featured dancers and actually was Mr. Wiggles. Shut up. I saw my quad since middle school about 10 years ago while at work, and we was like, what up? Not Mr. So you knew Mr. Wiggles, honey. Okay. Headed to the trapeze whenever COVID is over. Shut up, fool.
I'm going with you, TJ.
Listen, speaking of birthdays, I do need, and I still haven't checked her. Today is my cousin's birthday. My cousin Gina. Yeah, she's my older cousin. She got me by 7 years. So yeah, girl turning 58 today, honey. So yes, honey, she's back home in Detroit, honey. So hey, Gina. La 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 la, honey. That was my Aunt Pauline's daughter, honey, my mother's sister. So, be that as it may, I want to get into this before we leave about here because I think this is a cute little segue for me to get into the mind frame of got to go to the donut factory. Here's a question that I want us to ponder, and the question is, what is the definition of a good job? Okay, what is the definition of a good job? Go ahead.
A good job is when she's using both her hands and her head is going back simultaneously. With it.
Give me something to hit him with, Jesus.
What?
Give me something to hit him with. I did.
Did I say something?
God. I need a wet lasagna.
Right. It's wet like lasagna. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. You got You understand? What did I do?
I'm with you.
You did say good job.
Listen,
I ain't had a good job in a while.
The question, and here's the other thing: are we ever going to get back to the place where having good jobs did not? Well, wait a minute. Let me do this. Now, when we hear good jobs or whatever, most folks are going into them. They're going into a basing their career on what a job pays, versus going into something that was a passion of theirs. You know, a lot of folks go into I'm gonna be a doctor, and they hear because doctors can make $50,000, $100,000, $250,000 a year, whatever. But then that's not what their passion is, honey. So they go into these damn professions, because of what it pays versus it being a good job. Exactly what is a good job? Or are we just driven to a career choice based on how much they pay?
Well, you got to remember a good job. This is my 360-degree version of it. A good job would be something that you can't wait to get to the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you don't mind working an extra day a week at.
Right.
Something that you don't frown on about holidays. Something that allows you to be able to be financially free.
Okay.
Something that allows you to override the government sticklers that we have in the United States, like great medical benefits.
Right.
Saying? Life insurance, educational, type, investments and things like anything that has to do with, that has to do with the betterment of yourself to where you're not, you don't need anybody. You can take care of your family in 360 degrees. I mean, in all aspects. You should be able to have a nest egg. Your kids should be able to go to college. You should have a doggone well-running vehicle, a beautiful home of your own. Everybody deserves this in the United States. We have been through so much as a doggone continent. And I just feel like that is a good job, because in the 50s, that good job belonged to one person in the house because the other person didn't have to work.
Right. You
know, a good job is where you have to go in front of a panel in order to doggone be relinquished from employment. They can't just walk up and say, I don't like your shoes today, you're fired. No, we can't do that and call it a good job. And like you said, people that go on these things, they're going for the money. That money's good, but if they can just take it away from you in 15 minutes, what's your point?
You know, I'm sitting up here, and what brought me this, because I'm hearing folks from back in the day. You know, I hear our grandmothers and my great aunts and all of them. You know, oh, he got a good job. You know, he worked for the government, and you know, he got good benefits, and you know, so it was all about, you know, what the job is, you know, and then it became about the title of the job. You know, oh my God, he got a good job. He working down there. He a CEO of the company, or oh, he's a lawyer, or oh, he got a good job. He a paralegal down there, you know, and basically a lot of that's because of what the job pays, you know. But oftentimes, when we see someone who's in a place where they're doing a nonprofit organization, you know, and they do a service, you know, those who really enjoy service work, you know, there's a lot of folks who do, you know, the catering jobs and carrying on, you know, cater waiters and all of that, you know, that they love that because they love being of service to one another. They love being able to sit your plate down and carry it on and get your napkins and stuff and all that to make the shit look elegant and this, that, and the other. It's a creative thing. And they love it. A lot of people
because everybody don't know that's a craft.
Right. You know,
that's a craft. You can put a test out for that and somebody gonna fail it. Which fork is your salad fork? What side do the fork go on? Right. You know what I'm saying? What is this? Right. What is this for? What is this? You know what I'm saying? People fail that.
Don't do it. You know, I used to order that shit from Finger Hut. When you get that damn, you know, because we used to get to the silverware with your initials on it, and then you get the big mega thing, and the serving tongs and this. I'm like, what the fuck is this spoon for? Oh, that's your sugar shell.
That's your
sugar shell.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, this is what you use when you put it in the sugar bowl, honey. Would you want one? You know, when you put the sugar in the tea?
Yeah.
There's a spoon for that, you know. Okay. Oh my God, honey. It was like, what the hell? You know. Oh, that's the demi-tasse. What the fuck is a demi-tasse, honey? That's your after dinner coffee or whatever, you know. And then it's a small little, that's the real little cup, honey.
Little cup, yeah.
The real little cup, okay. And things that, so when we look at what a good job is, you know, I oftentimes also go to and compare this with or correlate this with folks who always say you too serious. You know, you take your job too seriously. You know, and usually anytime somebody say that, it's because you want letting them get away with something.
Fact.
Okay.
And most
of the time, you taking your job too motherfucking seriously, it's because they trying to pull a stunt. You done clocked the stunt. They trying to talk you out of it or try to talk you into letting them slide, and you not. Because you ain't up for the bullshit. Now you taking your job too seriously. No, bitch, I'm doing my job, bitch, to keep your little thieving ass. You know? Because at this particular point, you ain't giving a damn about whether or not I got food on my table. And I know I like to eat, but bitch, no. Okay?
And I never understood that with people. They want to bring some type of negative space and the negative emotions and actions and doggone include you in it, or doggone pretty much frame you in it, because you might be doing nothing, and then when you catch hell or catch flack from it, they know where they're not there.
Right. Okay. So you know, when I look at good jobs and carrying on, I look at myself. Okay. I think the best job that I had that was an actual job. because my career is, of course, being on stage and entertainment and that kind of stuff. Because see, this, like, okay, Pride just put this up here. He says there's an old saying that if you enjoy what you're doing, that you never work a day in your life. Exactly. And so, like, this here is my job, but it's not, because, you know, a lot of folks will think that this is a hobby. No, this is what I do. Okay. This is what I do. Okay. And so this is not.
Let me piggyback there. We love this shit.
Hello. Okay. Okay.
Don't know what we go through. We love this shit.
Okay. So the whole idea of, you know, having a good job, you know, and we looking at the financial ramifications and the benefits or lack thereof of it, you know, I enjoy what I do down at the donut factory. I enjoy it because I enjoy people. But at the same time, with me enjoying people, I can't stand people, because in dealing in customer service, folks want you to believe that you're supposed to put up with their bullshit. Okay. And we have allowed that because businesses have been preaching that over the years. The customer is always right. No, the customer ain't always right. The customer is always the customer. Customer ain't always right.
The customer is always right, only when it depends on what side of you they standing on.
How about that?
All right. Okay. And I tell you in a minute, if you take your left shoe off and put it on the wrong foot, you right?
Boom. Okay. Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So, what the fuck up as that is, you're right. Okay.
You're right.
Okay. Right. Okay. But I wanted us to get into that, and just to have to see where everybody's thought process was on this, because oftentimes, you know, and now that we're trying to get folks that they just did a news story today about folks in the service industry. You know, a lot of the restaurants are still having problems getting people to come to work, and this, that, and the other. But a lot of folks are not willing to come out and deal with a lot of restaurant and close contact, you know, on a daily basis, on a consistent basis. A lot of the restaurants and stuff are trying to up the ante to have incentives for people to come in to work and things of that nature, which I get. But oftentimes, you know, when we talk about work, honey, this is work. A lot of folks don't know what goes on in the restaurant industry, you know, because it's more than just cooking. Because, you know, a lot of the servers, honey, they got to do their side work before they leave, child. Which means you got to wrap up the utensils in the napkins.
Everybody got to do 50 rolls.
Okay. You got to roll up and things of that nature, honey. You got to now. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I hated about working in the motherfucking kitchen, and that there is rotating that goddamn stock.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And when you work in the pizza industry, everybody got to fold 100 boxes.
Okay, right. Okay.
You got to pre-fold 100 boxes before you leave, each person.
Oh, because you got to be ready, you know, and this, that, and other. And then not to mention all of the cleaning and then staying up to codes and making sure that you know, I know back home, I haven't done it here because, and I know they have to have it here because I just don't work in the industry to go get your food license. But, you know, back in Detroit, you had to go down to the health department to get your food handler's card.
Yeah, you got to get serve safe.
Yeah,
get serve safe.
That's what it is. Serve safe. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know this. You know, this is my thing. You know, I'm a culinary artist.
You know, so, you know, in order to, and then you got to keep it up to date because a lot of folks don't know that you have to renew that.
You have to renew it.
Okay, you have to renew that.
It's funny you're talking about this, right? I'm gonna tell you, this happened just today. I went today and I was like, wow. I pull up to a I'm not finna plug them, but I pull up to a well-known restaurant drive-through, right? And it was right at that transition of when breakfast is turning into lunch.
Oh Lord.
When I get there, there's nobody there but the two managers that work there, or three managers. There's three managers there. Nobody came to work. So therefore, in order to transition from breakfast to lunch, they had to shut down, clean up, and reset up because there was not no workers there to transition over. I said, and then with me up there, you know, talking about what's going on and conversating, and I'm sitting back watching, I saw about 7 or 8 people that were potential customers didn't get the chance to get nothing to eat. They had to go somewhere else.
Right.
So now you probably disrupted their time because they probably only had so much time.
Right.
Now you're off the list of places to go when they have their break.
Right. Right.
And it's all because your staff said, I don't feel like it.
Right.
But exactly. I was amazed. I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all have to shut down the damn store and then get everything switched out, then transfer over, start cleaning up, and then you can start serving lunch. I said, nuh-uh. I said, it'd be a whole lot of no job having motherfuckers right here because But you said what?
He said, did you say he was in culinary? Was that in the military? Yeah.
I was and I also owned a couple of restaurants.
Okay. So yeah. So I wanted to get into that because you know, and I think this is going to be an ongoing thing as far as understanding what it is, because you know, some folks get, you know, we know the difference between a job and a career. I hope we do.
Right.
Okay. I hope we do. You know, because most of us, and I think a lot of us end up in jobs, you know, just to make ends meet, and you really not basically in your career choice or whatever. You're just trying to get over, because I'm gonna tell you something. Lord knows, I never thought that security would be my racket. Okay. I got into it because it was a job. I'm an entertainer and this, that, and the other. And I know that this particular kind of work is most flexible for me. Okay. And whenever I was between gigs, I know it was something I could get right back into. You know, because everybody always needs security.
Let's be honest about security and the security levels that we both have worked in and you're working in now.
Mm-hmm.
Those are and have been great segues to what we do anyway.
Right. Because of the setup. Right.
Because of the setup. It puts us in the middle of what we need to doggone ignite our whole entertainment and our media system. So
right.
I remember I did the same thing when I was here. When I was doing security, I was dead in the middle of everything I needed to see, everything I needed to know, and who I needed to meet.
Right.
Therefore, when I transitioned to promoting, and then to, you know what I'm saying, to the music, when I transitioned over that, I already had the camaraderie, and I've already had made the relationships.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So again, I tell everybody all the time, don't down the security guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I see females, oh, you're just a security guy. Okay, but some of them guys make a lot of money. I know a guy make $150,000 a year, and he only got to secure one person.
Right.
You got to watch yourself out here. You don't know what you're talking about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then there are some, like my former boss. I know this was a career choice for him because he was a military police officer. You know, when he was in the service and this, that, and the other, and we sat down and talked to him. He said, I just love doing this shit. You know, he liked investigating shit, and he liked, you know, being able to put plans and stuff. That child, my God, if he sat down and talked about it, honey, you could actually see his dick getting hard. Okay,
and that's the thing I was talking about, because one of my things I had when I don't know if I told you this, I might have spoken with you about this, but one of the things I did was I broke off and I started recruiting people that I saw that was serious about being security, and I had put me a little 6-man crew together. And I started getting the contracts. I was doing AAU, like the youth basketball teams and all that.
Right.
All the tournaments and they traveling tours. I ended up getting the contract for that for all over Atlanta. So I was on every side and every countryside, everywhere you could travel with them. I had people there, and I paid great money. I mean, you work 8 hours for me to get $100.
Right.
You can't beat that. Did you break your back? No. If you killed yourself just checking to see if somebody had the band on or they ticket.
Right. Okay. Right. So that there was just food for thought for today, and I'm hoping that as we leave this conversation, honey, would you think and ask yourself what exactly is a good job? Okay. What when you hear somebody say that or whatever, what is it that you hear? What does it mean? And then what do you hear when somebody else says? Because I know for me, what it means is that I'm comfortable in doing something that I enjoy doing. I don't mind giving up my time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see myself, you know, I could see myself not getting into the rat race of this, you know. I also see this as something that brings me fulfillment. I'm not feeling. I don't feel as though I'm doing a chore. You know, I absolutely get fulfillment out of it, and then on top of it, it brings me delight and joy, and everything that, as you said before, everything that I need is sustained. All of my necessities are sustained. You know, and now the bonus is if I'm somewhere where I could get some luxury out of it too. See, now that's a bonus.
But okay. that bonus right there. As many times as I've walked into a social area, social establishment or venue, and somebody recognized,
right,
and they go from me waiting for a table or asking for a table to being, oh no, man, you can't sit there. We're gonna put you over here, and you got a whole big ass couch and a little table to yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And about 20 minutes later, the DJ know who you are because they don't want to necessarily your name and you in the building.
Right. You know,
that right there, people don't understand. It was weird.
That's a cute feeling.
It was weird at first because I don't know if I told you, but I told you when we went to shoot the music video. And we were shooting in the parking lot. We was in a parking lot. And this older lady that owns the parking lot we were shooting at was talking to all of us. And in the middle of the conversation, she looked at me. Now, this is an older woman. She looked at me. She said, what's your name, baby? Just like that. And I was like, I looked at her. And now I'm looking like, Big Red. And she was like, Big Red? What did they call you? I was like, okay, I'm Big Red. All right, this is my wife's Cupcake. At first, I didn't know she was a cougar.
Right.
But then she was like, well, I know you from that shit. I was like, I don't know. She was like, Big Red. She said, that's your whole name. I said, Big Red Fella. I mean, they call me that. She said, oh my God. Just like that. And she said, you're on Dish T with Big Meat. I watch it every morning while I'm getting dressed, going ready to go to work. She said, she said, I can't catch y'all at night, but I get up in the morning and I play it back.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, thank you. Okay, but at the same time, I was weirded the fuck out because I was like, I don't know this lady from Paint. I'm way the hell over by Greenbrier somewhere.
Right. Okay, ain't that see? Yeah, it's a cute feeling. It's weird, and cute, and all that. And then when we get into those particular places, it's like, okay, then I'm doing my job. It's like, wow, then I'm actually doing my job, you know. And it makes a difference. Like down at the hotel or whatever, you know, when folks come in and, you know, they remember me or whatever. You're talking about folks that only come once or twice a year or whatever. Hey, good to see you, you know. Oh, you back, but you know. And this and that, we can get into conversation and thing, and they ask, you know, pertinent questions. It becomes all of that. So that's what lets me know that I make a difference. You know, what that what I do and how I work and carry on is setting the precedent for me. So yeah, what does it mean to have a good job?
Well, I know what we're doing, I'm happy doing it, and I'm great doing it, and we learn to generate incomes, you know what I'm saying, back and forth, you know what I'm saying. We're making it happen, and we're really at the fetal part of the situation. And And it's great, you know what I'm saying, as well, you know what I'm saying. I appreciate you bringing me on this platform here, as well as my platform. I've had young guys come up to me and just from my, you know what I'm saying, seeing me through social media and listening, they were like, "Oh, you Big Red from Atlanta Hot Radio," you know what I'm saying. When they tell me stuff like that, first it was spooky. You know what I'm saying? It's a different feeling for the older lady to see us, you know what I'm saying, say she see the TV show, but then you got young little Thundercats, and you know what I'm saying, talking to you about, you know what I'm saying, the radio.
Thundercats, chair. Okay.
Right. So you're talking about, you know what I'm saying, the radio. So you're looking at them sideways, like what, you know. But then finally, the weirdo part is when they say, "Yo, man, before I go, man, can I take a picture with you?" That blows me.
Right.
So I said, okay. You know, but immediately I'm goofy with it. I get back in the vehicle. I'm calling my wife. I'm like, "Yo, guess what just happened to me?" You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, all right, children. That'll give y'all something to talk about, to think about, to know about, and et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, somebody told me that my background was waving. That's because I keep hitting it with my chair. Okay. Yeah, waving like a flag, honey. That's all right, honey. I'm too close up on it. So every time I lean back, my chair moves and carrying on. But be that as it may. What we're going to do now is we're going to let you guys get back into your Saturday evening. For those of you who are here in Atlanta and you're about to go out, y'all out there at the place to go see Saucy Santana because she's in town.
Whoa.
Okay. For those of you who are partaking of all of the things going on here for your Labor Day weekend, we got Black Gay Pride, we have Skate-a-thon, we have the SEC games going on, and we also have Dragon Con, okay, going on down here in the ATL. So if that's what you're doing, honey, that's cute. If you're wherever you're listening to, if you're not here, honey, I hope that whatever you're doing, you are taking your time, have fun, but be safe about it, whatever that means to you. Be safe, and let's do this all again, honey. So on that note, honey, you may finish all of your crumpets, my darling, because the tea has been just the jazz. Oh, wait, the jazz festival this weekend too.
Yep. I forgot about that. Yep.
Oh shit.
Hey, I wonder, is Will down here?
Huh?
Will here?
Who?
Will Downey.
I don't know who's here.
Because that jazz festival, I know him and Michelle Ferrell does. I don't. Yeah, anyway, all right.
Right, child. Lord have mercy. I didn't realize that. Okay, well, honey, listen. Finish all your crumpets, Saturday, because the tea has been dished and you've been dishing tea. Darlings, with Big Meech and the big guy ally over there, that's the big red fella. In Aunt Nikki's absence, darling, honey, we thank you, we love you, we appreciate you for coming in and spending your time with us. And we thank you for the love, honeys. But if you love us the way that we think that you do, honey, please tell all your friends, like, subscribe, share on whatever platform that you're looking at us on, okay? But if you hate us, you can tell all of your motherfucking enemies, honey. Okay? You can tell all of them, tell all of them. Okay? Because everything that we're doing over here with Dishing Tea Entertainment, which is including Dishing Tea with Big Meech, is including Atlanta Hot Radio, it's including Let's Talk with Aunt Nikki, it's including Diversity TV, it's including, we got some other stuff coming on down the way, Sensuality, honey, our smell goods and carrying on. It's including a number of things that we are doing, honey. So if you love us, honey, yeah, we appreciate all of that. But everything that we're doing, any way, shape, style, form, or fashion, honey, will move forward.
Click the link, that Big Red Fella album.
Oh, that's right. That right on this Pandora app right here.
Yes,
Big Red, his album has just dropped, honey. Okay, honey. If y'all like some funky old blues and carrying on, I'm telling y'all, go have a good time. Go listen to it. Let's have some fun. We got something coming up, honey. We got something coming up down the line, honey. We're going to need y'all to get your TikTok together. So we're going to get y'all to come on out and do your jelly roll, honey. Do your jelly roll. So on that note, honey, let's make this happen. Because now I got to change my mindset and get ready to go to the donut factory. Okay, so on that note, my darling, Let's see, am I ready for it? Yeah, I think I am. Woo-hoo! And child, ooh, scene, yeah.